Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Bulldog Report. I'm Eddie Kalegi. A big game today as two of the top teams in the Greater Middlesex Conference face off. It's the Metuchen Bulldogs at 13-1, 10-0 in the GMC Blue Division, facing off with the St. Thomas Aquinas Trojans, who are 14-0 and undefeated 13-0 in GMC Red Division play, and the two-time reigning GMC champions. Really excited for this one. Game of the year for Metuchen. I'm Eddie Kalegi here to bring you all the action. This Metuchen team has definitely become quite familiar to the heroics over these last couple of days, with a pair of walk-off wins in a row on Friday and Saturday, coming from behind in both games. On Friday, they were trailing in the extra innings against JFK after a wild turn of events there, but they ended up pulling it out and capturing the victory in what was a really exciting finish to that game. They were trailing by 2, entering the bottom of the 10th inning when they got really lucky towards the end. As you look at this, Leslie Flaherty drove one out to left center field. It got down, the game-winning run came around, and Metuchen went on to knock off JFK. And JFK is a really talented roster. This Island Kennedy team, they faced off with St. Thomas Aquinas in the GMC Championship last season. But we're just moments away here from getting started. Now looking at St. Thomas, they're coached by Missy Colazzo, and as we said, this is quite the talented team. Last year they went 20-3, finished 13-1 in the Red Division. That's after being elevated to the Red Division from the White Division after 2018, when they also won the GMC Championship. Last game for them was yesterday, an easy 19-0 win over Piscataway, who is still winless in Red Division play this season. Great performance from a couple of their players. Amori Patterson, 3 for 4 at the plate. Jenna Schwartz, their senior catcher, went 2 for 3 with a triple and 3 RBI. And Haley Weicherzak, a freshman standout, freshman phenom on this team, had 4 RBI while striking out 12 in 5 scoreless innings on the mound. As for the Bulldogs, like we said, back-to-back big wins. Saturday was especially significant because that was against one of the top teams in the GMC Blue Division. They faced off with Spotswood on Senior Day, and Noel Leaf came up big with a walk-off single in the bottom of the 7th after Metuchen allowed 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning. They came back, ended up winning it 9-8, and Spotswood has fallen now to 3rd and 2 games back of Metuchen in the Blue Division. The Bulldogs at 10-0, Dunellen at 9-2, Spotswood at 9-3. Metuchen's only loss came against South Plainfield, and at 13-1, they officially have their best start in the past decade. So we're really excited to have you here for all the action today as the Metuchen Bulldogs and St. Thomas Aquinas Trojans square off in a huge game, 2 of the top GMC talents. I mean, this is definitely a significant proving ground game for the Dogs. They beat JFK, almost beat South Plainfield, but this is a whole other animal, facing off with the best team in the Greater Middlesex Conference over these past 2 years, who are proving it once again, even with a pretty young roster. One player to watch out for is sophomore Mary Kate Murray, number 9, who's hitting .600 this season with 10 home runs and 42 RBI, having a huge season and is hoping to do more today. So, fortunately, despite some of the issues we've had during these other games, St. Thomas does have their full roster with numbers listed, so hopefully I don't make any mistakes there. Also glad I was able to get to this game. I was just taking my AP Literature exam about 35 minutes ago. It just finished, and I was able to get over here for the start of the game, and I'm really excited for that. But Coach Hannah Thomas out there for Metuchen, hoping to guide them to a victory, but obviously the toughest test of the season to this point. And even though Metuchen and St. Thomas, there's some differences. Of course, St. Thomas is a private school, Metuchen a public school. There is still a decent rivalry between these teams because for a lot of sports, they had spent both being in the Blue Division. Basketball, football, just to name a couple, where Metuchen has had quite the rivalry with St. Thomas Aquinas over the years. And I know location doesn't matter that much because, of course, small schools, big schools get divided in the Greater Middlesex Conference, but This is one of the closest schools to Metuchen High School, third closest in proximity, only behind St. Joe's and J.P. Stevens. But let's get this rolling as the umpires are out. We're almost ready for the top of the first inning here between the Dogs and the Trojans. And for Metuchen, they'll be pitching, and they've been really solid on the mound this season, and they have been led by Abby Koza, who in 53 2/3 innings has pitched to a 2.09 ERA with 69 strikeouts, while Annika Frick has a 2.14 ERA, 7 strikeouts over 16 1/3 innings. Mia Zapp pitched a couple in relief, but it'll be Abby Koza on the mound for Metuchen in this one. Has pitched pretty well. I got knocked around a little bit in the 10th inning by JFK in that game on Friday, but of course Metuchen was able to pull out the victory in the end with some late game heroics from Leslie Flaherty. Also, an article had Abby Koza listed as one of the top 25 underclassmen to watch for in the state of New Jersey this season. Of course, this team, I was actually interviewing Hannah Thomas for the podcast that'll be out in a couple days, but she briefly mentioned just how they expected all this talent coming in. There are a lot of younger players, Kozo, De La Fuente, both of the Flaherty sisters, who have played a lot of travel softball at very high levels. So there's a ton of talent that was entering this team in the freshman and sophomore classes. And this roster is predominantly made up of freshmen and sophomores, and it's hard to even imagine what's to come in these upcoming years. So Metuchen, of course, in their blue shirts, black pants. St. Thomas, red shirts, black pants. It'll be Caitlin O'Neill leading off here as Abby Kozo gets set, and we are ready for a huge GMC showdown between Metuchen and St. Thomas. The first pitch from Abby Kozo, and this is low off the plate for a ball. Here's the 1-0 offering from Kozo to O'Neill. A ground ball to short. Mia Zapp picks it up, throws to first, and that's the first out. So an easy 6-3 put out there for the Dogs, and that's how we'll get this game started. Junior Paige Tydeback up now. Kozo's first pitch is going to be inside for a ball. Tydeback batting .489 with 10 RBI, also has pitched to a .75 ERA in 65 innings so far this season. 1-0 from Kozo, swung on and missed. Way behind that high uppercut fastball, it's 1-1. Kozo's 1-1 is squibbed foul. The count is now 1-2. Tydeback hit .382 in 2019. 5 players returning from that 2019 GMC Championship roster, and of course bring in some veteran leadership to this team that is chasing another title, as that one knocked foul and the count remains at 1-2. Here's the 1-2 pitch from Kozo. Swung on and missed, strike 3 up in the zone. Tydeback goes down chasing. First strikeout for Kozo, and there's 2 outs here in the top of the first. Great job, as Kozo had missed off the plate with the first couple pitches. But now can't throw straight heat here with Mary Kate Murray coming up, the sophomore, as we mentioned at the top of the show, 10 home runs already this season. And she's another one of these players. Of course, there was no season last year. All these freshmen and sophomores, they are new to high school softball, as this one is grounded through the hole, a base hit. And Mary Kate Murray remains dangerous with a first pitch single. And the Trojans have a 2-out base runner. And this will bring up their cleanup hitter, Amari Patterson, who, like we said, had a big game yesterday, getting 3 hits. So runner at first, and that one's fouled back. But back to Murray, I mean, a sophomore hitting 10 home runs, that is not an easy feat to do, but she has dominated at the plate. No other player in this game has more than 6 home runs this season. That's Brianna De La Fuente, as Patterson chases one up and out of the zone, and Kozo has worked ahead to an 0-2 count. So no balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the first, runner at first. Here's the pitch from Kozo. This one popped foul again. It's the most dangerous lineup she's had to face, but she is challenging them with high heat, especially even though there are so many power hitters who can hit extra base hits. This one is popped high in the sky, first base side, giving Chase Kiley flaherty, but that'll go out of play. Looking at the defense, De La Fuente the catcher, Kozo the pitcher. Flaherty at first, Pachelski second, Zap third, McGrath. Zap at short, McGrath at third. As this one, a ground ball over to second, could get the force play. Pachelski puts down the tag, gets Murray sliding into second, and side retired. So Kozo works around a 2-out single. Bulldogs coming up in the bottom of the first. Scoreless game. Metuchen, St. Thomas Aquinas. Stay with us. This is the Bulldog Report. Bottom of the first inning, Eddie Kalecki here on the Bulldog Report. Metuchen will be batting, getting ready to go, and they will be facing Paige Tydeback, who, as we mentioned, has been dominant on the mound. And she didn't pitch yesterday. They had a Weicherzak pitch, and she did a really good job. 5 innings of 1-hit scoreless ball, striking out a dozen. And speaking of piling up strikeouts, that's what the junior Tydeback does. Pitched to a 1.79 ERA as a freshman in 15 2/3 innings. Here has struck out 84 this season to a .75 ERA in 65 innings pitched. But the Metuchen offense, of course, they are something to watch. And looking at Abby Kozo, 708, 2 homers, 23 RBI. Brianna De La Fuente at 6 home runs. Annika Frick has gotten her average up to 605. Leslie Flaherty, who's been red hot in the 600s. And Mia Zap, who's been going through a little bit of a slump, is still hitting .489 so far this season. She'll bat first here, Mia Zap leading off. And the first pitch from Tydeback is going to miss up and in for a ball. Zap with 4 home runs, the sophomore. Also 6 stolen bases out of that leadoff hole, but has struggled to get on base these last couple games. Her average was up near 600. And I mean, not saying that .489 is a bad average. Both these teams have some ridiculous batting averages, but she's definitely stepped back and would like a big game today as she swings and fouls that one back, and the count is now 1-2. Two lefties, Kozo and Tydeback on the mound. The 1-2 pitch swung on and missed. Hard fastball. No way Zap was catching up to that. And that's the first out here of the bottom of the first inning. So that'll bring up Noelle Leaf here, hitting .318 with 9 RBI, hit .365 in 2019, and of course had the big hit on senior day yesterday. Drops to bunt, but that'll go foul. And as we've mentioned, the massive turnaround. I know there's all this talent, but still there's only 2 players that were even on the team in 2019. Those being Leaf and Frick, who have definitely provided some really key veteran leadership in some of these tough games. And it's been really good for Metuchen, as that one's in their first strike 0-2, to get some challenges after they just cruised through the beginning of the season against some easy GMC Blue Division opponents, really preparing them for the end of the season and the postseason ahead. As Leaf watches that one go off the plate outside, 1-2. Kozo on deck. Here's the windup from Tydeback. The 1-2 pitch fouled back. So it's a 1-2 count. Here's the pitch. Leaf with a ground ball over to short, fielded by Patterson. Throw to first, and that's out number 2. So both pitchers start with a strikeout and a 6-3 putout And now 2 away for Abby Kozo. Kozo's average has finally gotten away from 800, but it's still at 708. 2 homers, 23 RBI. Lefty against lefty, pitcher against pitcher. First pitch from Tydeback. Check swing, did not go around. It was upstairs for a ball. There's the windup, the 1-0 pitch. This one popped up sky high. Chasing out is Patterson. Looks up towards the sun. Got it. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Paige Tydeback. So a smooth inning for both pitchers to start the game off. We'll head to the top of the second inning. Scoreless game, Bulldogs and Trojans, right here on the Bulldog Report. Top of the second inning, Eddie Kalegi here on the Bulldog Report. If you haven't checked out the MHS podcast, 2 more episodes this school year, and 1 will be released on Thursday with a key interview spotlighting the softball team. We'll be joined by Coach Hannah Thomas to talk about all the latest with the program, including a fish that fell onto the field during a game. You won't want to miss that story, plus all the latest in Metuchen High School sports, and we'll be interviewing 2 of the leaders of Project Seniors to promote project graduation and other events planned for the class of 2021 over the next few weeks. If you want to check that out, go search MHS Podcast on YouTube or follow on Twitter at PodcastMHS. Abby Kozo back to the mound, got her 70th strikeout of the season in the first, allowed a single, but worked through the rest of the inning unscathed. And senior catcher Jenna Schwartz, 5-hole, will bat here. 5-6-7 due up in the Trojan order. Kozo's first pitch is framed by De La Fuente, but a little off the plate for a ball. Schwartz hit .311 in 2019, has increased up to .381 this year as Kozo misses high. It's 2-0. Home run, 14 RBI, hit 2 homers, 23 RBI back in 2019. And had a triple yesterday as that one's in there for a strike, 2-1. Here in the top of the second, scoreless game, top in the blue division, top in the red division, ironically wearing blue and red respectively, as that one misses high. It's 3 balls and a strike now. 3-1 from Kozo. And that one's going to miss off the plate, ball 4. A rare walk for Abby Kozo, and the leadoff hitter's on base. Second base runner here for the Trojans, and they've got some life here with nobody out. And you know Kozo, like we said, wants to be careful with these power hitters, but can't be too fine when you're missing off the plate like that. This will bring up Amaya Hill, a sophomore. And she squibs one, a bunt. It's going to roll, nobody's going to grab it, and she's going to go to first. A terrible read light right there, as Kozo, Pachalski, and Flaherty all let it go by, just thinking someone else was going to grab it. Perfectly executed, bunt single by Hill. And the Trojans are in business here with 2 on and nobody out. And now Melissa Martinez will come up with a chance to give the Trojans the lead. And she'll swing at the first pitch and drive one out to right. Leslie Flaherty backs up, makes the catch. Neither runner tags. So a big first out there. Nice catch by the freshman Flaherty. And that'll bring up Mackenzie Pfizer, the 8-hitter. First pitch from Kozo. She takes that one high, but I'm still amazed by that perfectly placed bunt that we saw just a moment ago. That these runners this Metuchen defense couldn't get to. And this one is going to be in there for a strike. Here's the pitch from Kozo. That one's going to be upstairs to Pfizer. Pfizer hitting .316, a homer, 12 RBI this season. That one is fouled back. So 1 out, Schwartz at second. Hill the runner at first. 2 hits and a walk so far against Kozo. Another foul ball from Pfizer. Here's the pitch from Kozo. This one is drilled through the whole base hit into right. Schwartz is not the fastest runner. She'll be held at third, but the bases are now loaded on a big swing by Pfizer. Before we get to the next batter, let's take a quick look at the replay of that bunt. You see them drop the bunt, and it gets right under Flaherty, and nobody was there to cover the bag, and that is not good fundamental softball. And now Madison Epps, the junior, will bat with the bases loaded. And the first pitch from Kozo is in there for a strike. So a chance here for the Trojans to jump out in front. And that one's in there, and the count's now 0-2. Bases loaded, 1 out, no balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That one is popped foul, almost got her back in the head on the foul tip. It'll be back to the top of the order with Caitlin O'Neill next. 5-pitch walk to Schwartz, bunt single by Hill. Martinez flew out, and then Pfizer singled to right. And the bases are loaded with 1 out. Here's the pitch. That one low and off the plate for a ball. Kozo worked around a lot of trouble against JFK. Let's see what she can do here as that one buzzes Epps up and in, and she takes a seat down there in the dirt to avoid that. She's been a little erratic here with her fastball. Few have been a little high today. 2-2. And that one is just barely nubbed off the bat, nearly strike 3 to the backstop. But the at-bat continues. 9-hole hitter looking to come up clutch and give the Trojans the lead with 1 out in the top of the second. And she's going to loop one over to second. Catch is made, backtracking, and trying to get back to third. And now the ball gets away. And Schwartz goes back, so crisis averted. Poor base running there by Jenna Schwartz, who could have potentially tagged up if she waited on that. And Metuchen gets a lucky break, and there's 2 away. And now O'Neill will bat. She grounded to short in the first, but I don't know why Schwartz was so far off the bag after the ball was caught. I think she expected that the ball was going to get through. It took a weird drive through the air. It kind of looked like it was being looped, but Pachalski made a nice catch, but Metuchen almost doubled her off. The throw was on target, but McGrath couldn't secure it at third. Here's the pitch to O'Neill. This one is popped sky high. Kozo's got a read on it, makes the catch, and Abby Kozo, some Houdini work to get out of that. Bases loaded, 1 out. Trojans do not scratch across a run. We stay scoreless. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Eddie Kalegi here live on the Bulldog Report. We'll be back after this.
bottom of the second inning. Been a fun one to watch so far here between Metuchen and St. Thomas Aquinas. And I think we used this graphic last game, but there's no reason not to bring it up again, just to mention how unprecedented this season has been for the Bulldogs. They're doing the impossible. They're now up to 13 wins. They only had 10 wins in 2019. And they have actually since exceeded that. They have a better start since 2013. They dropped their 14th game in 2013, while this time around they are 13-1. But 4, 5, 6 due up in the order. It'll start with Metuchen's best power hitter, Brianna De La Fuente. De La Fuente was the center of a controversial play in the bottom of the 9th inning of Friday's game against JFK, which we streamed here. Bases loaded, 1 out. The ball got through. They threw home, trying to get the force. There was a big collision with the catcher, Rodriguez, from JFK. First, they ruled Brianna De La Fuente safe. They were overruled, and the game continued. And De La Fuente ended up getting the last laugh and ended up scoring the go-ahead run in the next inning on Leslie Flaherty's game-winning RBI hit. As this one is clobbered out to right center field. Coming in on the slide. What a catch in right field. Impressive play for out number 1. And Tydeback has to help. Love the support there from the defense. So a beautiful sliding catch there for the first out of the inning. And that'll bring up Leslie Flaherty, who had that walk-off 2-run triple on Friday. And she'll take the first pitch from Tydeback in there for a strike. Not easy with the sun glare, 4:30 in the afternoon on a bright day. As that's fouled back and the count is 0-2. To be able to make that catch, and it's a great play out there in right field. Not exactly sure who that is. That might have been Mackenzie Pfizer, but regardless, here's the 0-2. Big hack from Flaherty. She fouls that one off. Oh-2 from Tydeback. This one popped way up into the sky and out of play. So 3 straight foul balls after falling behind 0-2. Kylie Flaherty on deck. There's the pitch. This one is driven out to center field, drifting back, playable, catch made. Back-to-back deep fly balls here. And there's 2 outs here at the bottom of the second. So De La Fuente and Flaherty fly out to right and center, and now Kylie Flaherty will bat, batting .484 this season. 2 home runs, 12 RBI. And the first pitch holds up, but it's in there anyway in the inside corner. 0-1. Of course, the Flaherty family, a lot of lineage in Metuchen high school sports. As this one is nubbed down the left field line, that's a fair ball. Flaherty's going to take the turn. She'll head into second, and she'll cruise in with a 2-out double. And the Bulldogs have their first hit of the day. Not the best contact, but it got the job done. Just over the base, looped down the left field line, and Metuchen has a runner in scoring position. Perfect placement there for Flaherty, and now Annika Frick will look to drive in a run. Something she's done plenty of this season. She has 23 RBI and is batting .605. And the first pitch is going to miss for a ball. 3rd highest average on the team. Frick also pitching pretty well with a 2.14 ERA. As the Metuchen's number 2 pitcher behind Kozo. That one a little up and in for a ball. There's the windup from Tydeback. The pitch to Frick is going to be in there for a strike. Tydeback, we said a strikeout pitcher, 84 Ks, but just 1 so far today. And that is a swing and a miss, and now the count is even at 2-2. Mary McGrath on deck. Metuchen with their regular starting lineup today. And Frick watches strike 3, and that'll retire the side. So Frick takes that one. Second strikeout for Tydeback, and Metuchen gets a 2-out double, but strands Flaherty over there at second. We'll head to the third inning. This is Eddie Kalegi here on the Bulldog Report. Scoreless game. Metuchen and St. Thomas will be back in a moment. Top of the third inning coming up. This is Eddie Kalegi here on the Bulldog Reporter. Thank you to Ben Slatlasky from the Media Club and our athletic director, John Cathcart, for getting the setup ready for today's stream. And, of course, we'll have a lot more throughout the season. It's been really exciting to get to call all these games all season long. But been an interesting one so far. Both teams have gotten base runners. St. Thomas more so than Metuchen. And Kozo will hope for a much calmer inning here after loading the bases with 1 out and having to work out of it and getting kind of lucky on a bad base running decision over at third with Jenna Schwartz on a play she could have potentially scored on. But the trouble is she now has to pitch to the heart of the order, 2, 3, 4, and it starts with Tydeback, who she struck out back in the first. Here's the offering from Kozo. That one's going to be high for a ball. So it's always great to see some good showdowns here, but, I mean, especially when it's two of the top teams in the entire conference in Metuchen and St. Thomas Aquinas. Tydeback, Murray, and Patterson due up for the Trojans, and that one is a check swing. They'll appeal to first and say she did not go. It's a 3-ball count here. Kozo does not offer a lot of free passes and already walked 1 hitter. This one a ground ball. Tough play from McGrath. Fields it, throws to first cleanly. Nice defensive play there from McGrath and a oddly hit ball squibbing across the ground, but that's the first out here of the third. So 1 away, and Murray will bat. She took a first pitch from Kozo into center field for a single her first time up and was stranded at first, back in the first. And she takes that one high for a ball. This is quite the matchup here. One of the best hitters in the GMC against one of the best pitchers. Murray got the best of Kozo first time around. Let's see what happens here. Both sophomores. This one is driven out to left center field. Long run for Frick, and tracking it down. It goes in and out of her glove, popping out. Frick with a strong throw into second. And now the ball gets away. Trickling back to second goes Murray. And that's a 1-out double. Was going to be a very difficult catch for Frick. At least didn't let it go over her head and kept it in front of her. But it's a 1-out double for Mary Kate Murray. Like we said, came in batting .600 with 10 homers and 42 ribbies. And she's already got 2 hits in the first 3 innings. And again, Abby Kozo's going to have to work through some trouble. 4th hit allowed through 2 1/3 innings. Has also walked a batter. And it's Amori Patterson batting now, 0 for 1 with a fielder's choice. And that one's a swing and a miss for a strike. Jenna Schwartz on deck. Here's the pitch from Kozo. Fouled back. 2 strikes now against Patterson. Patterson batting .405, a home run, 16 RBI, and had 3 hits in yesterday's contest against Piscataway. That one's upstairs for a ball. Kozo shakes off De La Fuente twice, and now is going to step off. So clearly some discrepancy there between the two sophomores on what to throw. And this one is popped up first base side. Flaherty gives the chase. It's over the fence and out of play. Murray the runner at second. Here's the pitch. And that one is off the plate for a ball. Now, a walk wouldn't be terrible here, but it certainly wouldn't be ideal. And that one's going to miss upstairs, and the count is now full here to Amari Patterson. Murray at second. And Patterson fights that one off, and this is now a lengthy battle here between Abby Kozo and Amari Patterson. Murray at second, going on the pitch. This one is driven out to right field. Now having to come in is Flaherty as the ball takes a weird tailspin. She'll make the catch for the second out, and Murray is forced to stay at second. Flaherty was playing a little too deep there. Definitely wanted to keep the ball in front of her, but even backtracked the moment that ball was hit and then had to come in a little wildly. But 2 away, and that'll bring up Schwartz, who drew a walk and was stranded at third back in the second. That first pitch is high. Metuchen will have McGrath, Pachalski, and Zapp due up in the bottom half of the inning. Pitch from Kozo is going to miss for a ball. Here's the pitch. And that one is going to miss as well. Kozo's been having some trouble finding the strike zone here against Jenna Schwartz. Happened in the first at bat, and it's happening here again. And that one is going to get in there for a strike. So I believe a 3-1 count right now on Schwartz. Amaya Hill, who had that great bunt single in the first inning, is in the second inning rather, is due up next. And this one is drilled out to right field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Murray rounding third, but they're going to throw her out at first. What a job by Flaherty to keep it in front of her and throw out Jenna Schwartz at first base. If they hadn't gotten her, Murray would have absolutely scored. A bullet from Flaherty to end the inning. What an impressive play right there from Leslie Flaherty to throw out Schwartz on the old-fashioned 9-3 putout. And taking a look at the replay, that came down in front of Flaherty, threw to first and got Schwartz in a beat. Schwartz was busting it up the line, but an excellent throw by Flaherty to retire the side. So we'll head to the bottom of the third inning right now. Still a scoreless game. Kozo works out of trouble once again. Bottom of the third inning here. Tydeback has pitched pretty well. Just allowed the double to Flaherty and has retired everybody else. So Mary McGrath, who went 2 for 4 with 3 RBI on Senior Day Saturday against Spotswood, will bat here. McGrath, one of 2 freshmen in the lineup. And though a lot of attention has gone to Leslie Flaherty, and deservedly so, McGrath as a freshman has made quite the statement. Of course, another one who did not play any high school softball whatsoever. Last time there was a season, she was in 7th grade and has done a great job at third base this season. Has kind of won that spot away from Nicole Trolero, who's kind of a platoon earlier in the season, but only has 11 plate appearances. McGrath swings and misses there. Sitting .363 with 12 RBI this season. Carly Pachalski will be due up next, and that one's another nice pitch from Tydeback, and she's ahead 0-2. Tydeback through 2 innings, 1 hit allowed, and a pair of strikeouts to get her to 86 Ks on the season. And McGrath goes down swinging on 3 pitches, so good morning, good afternoon, good night from Tydeback for the first out of the bottom of the third. Now Pachalski, .378, 12 RBI, the junior. And she takes that first pitch low. Only junior in the regular Metuchen lineup. Of course, she got to play some JV softball as a freshman back in 2019. Tydeback the windup, 1-0, is fouled off. Tydeback has so much speed on those pitches. You could see with the velocity that Pachalski just didn't know it was coming and just had to get her bat out in front of it and was able to fight that one off. 1-1. Another quick one in there for a strike, and Tydeback now ahead on the 9-hole hitter, 1-2, with Mia Zapp due up next. Here's the pitch. This one popped up and out of play. Just under the press box, which is our camera stanchion. Of course, I'm calling this game from the press box facing the football field. The softball field is actually going on behind me right now. And that one's upstairs for a ball, 2-2. Got a couple of computer monitors set up here in the press box, and I'm out looking at the football field right now. So it's a little unique, but it's great that we've been able to call these games. As Pachalski goes down swinging, back-to-back strikeouts, now 3 in a row, dating back to last inning for Tydeback. That's 4 Ks for her, and quickly 2 away here in the bottom of the third. So now Mia Zapp struck out last time and swings and misses, and Tydeback, who had some hard hit balls against her in the second inning. 2 deep flyouts, one that had a nice sliding catch of the De La Fuente pitch, and the double by Flaherty, has really gotten into a groove here and is ahead 0-2. What an inning here from Tydeback. It's only her 11th pitch and has a chance to strike out the side, and she does so. What an inning for Paige Tydeback. 1, 2, 3 for 8, 9, and 1 in the Metuchen order. And the Bulldogs stay off the board. We'll head to the 4th inning. Game moving quickly. What a pitcher's duel between Kozo and Tydeback so far. Scoreless between the Dogs and the Trojans here on the Bulldog Report. So Abby Kozo ready to work here. It'll be 6, 7, and 8 in the St. Thomas Aquinas order. It'll start with Amaya Hill, who had that perfect bunt single that the Metuchen defense played terribly. It ate up Flaherty, and nobody was there to pick her up, as everybody converged on the ball and nobody stayed behind. We'll see if Hill does any sort of trickery here once again. She's swinging here and fouls it back. So Kozo has had to work around base runners all 3 innings. 2 of them have been just Mary Kate Murray, and has gotten some help from her defense. Leslie Flaherty had a nice catch and then threw out Jenna Schwartz from right field at first base to end the top of the 3rd inning. De La Fuente tries to frame that one, but it's high for a ball. 3 innings, 4 hits, a walk, a strikeout, and most importantly, no runs allowed so far for Kozo, continuing to lower that ERA that just recently got above 2, but she's tracking that back down right now. Of course, that's been inflated. Some tough games. They gave up 7 against South Plainfield, 8 to Spotswood, and 12 to Bridgewater Raritan, but were able to win 2 of those 3 games and almost won the other. And that one is a swing and a miss. Down goes Hill. Second strikeout for Kozo, and that's the first out of the 4th. Great pitch right there from Kozo. Her first strikeout since she got Tydeback back in the 2nd. Of course, she's a strikeout pitcher. It's surprising to see all the contact. Here's more loud contact, but it's right to Flaherty. And Martinez has retired for the 2nd out. So both pitchers working pretty efficiently. And for Metuchen, I mean, I said about a week and a half ago, I think it was the game against Middlesex, they need some closer games, and they are getting them. Back-to-back games that have come down to walk-offs. Of course, the South Plainfield game, which they lost. Bridgewater Raritan, the 13-12. And it's looking like this could be another one. And Metuchen is hanging with St. Thomas to this point, a team that is considered the best in the GMC, and defending their home field well here through this first half of the game. Pfizer singled back in the 2nd. 2 outs here, and that's going to miss upstairs. One issue for Kozo has been falling behind in counts. Her fastball has been a little too elevated and a little out of the zone today. Hasn't had his best control, and then has had to try to force it into the zone, and has given some of these really talented St. Thomas hitters some very hittable pitches to work with. There's the pitch from Kozo, and that one is dropped by De La Fuente. Top of the 4th. No score here between Metuchen and St. Thomas. And a swing and a miss. Kozo, 2 strikeouts in the inning, and that'll retire the side. First 1-2-3 inning of the day for Abby Kozo. Bulldogs looking to finally take the lead. They'll have 2, 3, and 4 in the order to face Tydeback in the 4th. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning, no score. Trojans, Bulldogs, Eddie Kalegi here. We'll be back for the bottom of the 4th inning right here on the Bulldog Report. Noelle Leaf first batter up, and on Saturday, she did this, a walk-off RBI single to defeat Spotswood and extend Metuchen's Blue Division lead. Back-to-back walk-offs from this team from Flaherty and Leaf as part of this 3-game homestand, and are looking to make it 3rd time a charm once again here against St. Thomas. They've been doing a good job of it so far. Leaf 0 for 1, grounded to Patterson in the 1st. Now, the score is, 0-0, but St. Thomas has had many more offensive opportunities. Kozo, the 4th inning was the first time she's been locked in, as Leaf bounces one through the hole, a base hit into center field in between Patterson and O'Neill. And Leaf has Metuchen's just their 2nd base runner. And Leaf, she and Zapp have both been struggling at the plate. And it's nice to see them get a runner on here. And now Abby Kozo in a perfect opportunity for the Dogs to strike first here in the bottom of the 4th. With their 2 best hitters, Kozo and De La Fuente, due up next. Kozo popped out first time. Tydeback that ends her streak of 4 consecutive strikeouts as Kozo hacks it one out of the zone and tips it foul down the 3rd base side. 2-0 Rise ball is upstairs for a ball. Thank you for the clarification in the chat. This is trying my best to learn all the ins and outs of softball here throughout these past couple of years doing these games here in Metuchen. So appreciate the clarification on that, as that one is going to miss for a ball, 2-1. Once again, a thank you to Ben Solaski and AD John Cathcart for setting up the equipment today. I couldn't get here till literally right before the game. I showed up in the press box at 3:54 because I was taking an AP exam today. But great to be here, of course, for this huge game for both these programs. Tops in the red and blue division squaring off in a massive contest here in the Brainy Borough. Tydeback that's in there. Believe the count is full. Leaf the runner at first. Nobody out here in the last of the fourth. Tydeback the pitch. This one is popped foul, and the battle continues here with Brianna De La Fuente waiting on deck. Here's the pitch. This one is driven out to right field on the run, making the catch in center. And that's the first out here of the fourth. So Kozo makes solid contact, but the catch made in center field. And now De La Fuente will bat. So Kozo's average, I think, has finally dipped below 700 here. De La Fuente still hovering right around 600. Hit one to right, but an excellent sliding play was made out into right field for the first out of the second in her first plate appearance of the day. Tydeback's pitch is in there for a strike. Tydeback struck out the side in the third inning. She's K'd 5 so far through 3 1/3 innings, allowing just 2 hits, the double by Kylie Flaherty and the single by Leaf. And Leaf still stands at first. De La Fuente ground ball, possible double play. Patterson over to first, close play, and it's really close there. I think they're going to say she's safe. That was a close play, but De La Fuente just barely beat it out. There was a slight hesitation by O'Neill on the turn to Patterson. And I believe Swikowski is going to come in now and pinch run for De La Fuente. So fielder's choice. She'll reach base there. And now Leslie Flaherty will bat with a runner on first and 2 away. De La Fuente struck that ball, but unfortunately for her, on the ground. But fortunate that O'Neill hesitated just slightly on the turn to Patterson, and it was just enough to get De La Fuente, who's not the fastest runner, over to first. And Flaherty makes hard contact out to right field, long run, and that's going to fall in for a foul ball. Already been a really nice play out in right field in this game for the Trojans back in the second, but couldn't track that one way into foul territory. Flaherty flew to center her first time, hitting .610, 3 homers, 22 RBI this season. Tydeback's pitch popped high, and that's going to go wide of the fence and foul, and bounce right up near that house. Maybe it's just me. I probably wouldn't want to live right next to a softball field, but hey, you get a great view of the action and of a great game today. Flaherty, another pop-up. That one's going into the front yard. So back-to-back foul balls by Flaherty with 2 outs, and Swikowski, the pinch runner at first for De La Fuente, and Kylie Flaherty, who's got a double already on deck. Flaherty again gets into one, but it's high in the air, and the catch is made by Pfizer in right field, and that'll end the inning. So a leadoff single by Leaf, nothing comes of it. We'll head to the 5th inning. Still no score here between Metuchen and St. Thomas. Fifth inning coming up. Abby Kozo pitched her first 1-2-3 inning in the fourth and struck out a pair. She'll face Epps, O'Neill, and Tydeback here in the top of the fifth. Also a clarification, it was actually Deanna Kachi who was the pinch runner for De La Fuente in the bottom of the fourth. Epps popped out in the second. There's Shilbad here. Kozo was settled in. Had the bases loaded and 1 out. 4 of the first 8 hitters she faced reached base. But since then, she's been able to retire 8 of the last 9. Just 1 double by Murray as the first pitch to Epps in there for a strike. Epps only had 1 plate appearance in 2019. This year, the junior hitting .233 with a home run and 7 RBI. And she'll foul that one back, and Kozo's quickly ahead 0-2. So both these pitchers were a little shaky, and I mean, it's a stretch to even say shaky. They've both been dominant, but allowed base runners, but to this point have started to figure things out and have looked really locked in. That one tails off a bit, and it's a ball, 1-2. 1-2 pitch, Abby Kozo. Here it goes. That one is going to miss high just by a bit for a ball, and the count is now even at 2-2. Weicherzak, who pitched yesterday, is not in the rotation, in the lineup today for St. Thomas. She's hitting .385 this season. Other than that, it's basically the regular starters for both these teams. That one missed upstairs, so after going ahead 0-2, Kozo has now drawn this back to a full count here to the 9-hitter Epps. And that one is in there. Strike 3 called, outer part of the zone, so Kozo gets one called out there. She struck out 3 of the last 4 hitters, has 4 Ks in total today. And that's the first out of the 5th. Excellent placement right there by Abby Kozo, and that'll bring up O'Neill. 0 for 2, ground out, pop out. First pitch from this lefty Kozo is up and away for a ball. That's been the spot where she's been throwing these rise balls throughout this game. A lot of them go into the upper outer part of the zone. She's gotten a few hitters to chase. She's gotten a few hitters like Murray to figure that out. And then she's gotten most of them to take them. And then she has to try to work back inside. But part of it's also the pitching philosophy. It's not just about control. She wants to, be careful with some of these hitters that can barrel one up. And in such a low-scoring game, 1 extra base hit is all someone needs. We've only seen 2 extra base hits today. Murray and Flaherty have doubles. Kozo behind 3-0. Gets the call there as O'Neill was taking all the way, and it's now 3-1. O'Neill, a .350 hitter. 3-1. And that one's in there for a strike. So again, Kozo in a 3-ball count locating. And it's her second straight full count. Tydeback is due up next. And a quick pause, as I think a baseball from baseball practice somehow got into the outfield here. Time back in. Baseball practice is going on the field, which is, adjacent to this over on the opposite diagonal side of the turf field, of the grass field, out here behind the press box. So O'Neill fights that one off, and the count remains full. (3-2). That one is high, ball 4. And the leadoff hitter, the speedy Caitlin O'Neill, is on base with 1 out. Second free pass of the day issued by Kozo, first since the second inning when she walked Jenna Schwartz. So now Tydeback, and she fouls that one off. 10 RBI this season. The 2 pitchers have been able to shut each other down at the plate. They're a combined 0 for 4 with a strikeout against one another so far today. So Kozo struggled first time through, did great second time through. Let's see what happens here the third time through the order, as Tydeback takes that one in there for a strike. Definitely wants to try to retire her, with Murray due up next, who's 2 for 2 as she fights that one foul. So 2 strikes now to Tydeback. Kozo looks in. Here's the pitch. And that one skims inside. Heading to second without a throw is O'Neill. And St. Thomas has the go-ahead run in scoring position. So Kozo tried to get Tydeback to fish, but it's a little too low. De La Fuente couldn't handle it, and it goes to the backstop. And now that one is a little high. O'Neill at second. Here's the pitch. This one a grounder right to third. McGrath plays it cleanly, throws to first. They'll send the runner to third, and almost tagged her as O'Neill almost slid off the base, but she advances to third, and now Murray with a huge RBI chance, and definitely the biggest at-bat of the game for either team coming up right here. Murray has not gotten a chance yet with runners on base, but she has drilled the only 2 pitches she's seen from Kozo. She swung first pitch both times and has a pair of hits. And the first one is going to miss high for a ball. Kozo has done a great job working out of jams these last couple of starts against tough opponents, and even today, with the bases loaded and 1 out in the second inning, got out unscathed. Scoreless game, 2 outs, 5th inning. Here's the pitch to Murray. She takes that one upstairs. 2 outs here, top of the 5th. No score between St. Thomas and Metuchen. Bulldogs have shut down the Trojan offense so far, but Murray, their best hitter, up here. And she swings and fouls that one back. Now this is a batter, you think he'd be a little more willing to pitch carefully and out of the zone too, especially with Patterson, who's 0 for 2 today, up next. But we saw Kozo try to pitch out of the zone to Tydeback, and it ended up being a wild pitch, and can't afford that here either. And a swing and a miss. 2 strikes now on Mary-Kate Murray. This would be a massive out to give the Dogs some momentum, with Flaherty frickin' McGrath due up in the bottom half of the inning. Here's the pitch from Kozo. That one upstairs. Count is full. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th. Scoreless game. Trojans, Bulldogs. Best in the red, best in the blue. 2 of the best in the GMC. Here's the pitch from Kozo. That one swung and fouled back. Murray just barely got a piece of that. O'Neill the runner at third. Full count. Here's the pitch from Kozo. Ground ball through the whole base hit. St. Thomas takes the lead. Mary-Kate Murray with her 3rd hit of the day. It's an RBI single between Zapp and Pachowski, and the Trojans take a 1-0 lead. Mary-Kate Murray cannot be stopped. The sophomore has 3 hits against Abby Kozo today. And the Trojans now lead at 1-0. And Metuchen again, against a tough team, will have to try to come from behind. They also want to limit the damage here with Patterson, the cleanup hitter, up. She takes that one off the plate for a ball. So Murray with 3 hits, 2 on the ground, 1 in the air, 2 singles and a double. That one upstairs for a ball. 2 to center, 1 to left. That 1 to left Frick almost got to, but it popped out of her glove. Was going to be an almost impossible play to start with. Patterson taking all the way. That one in there for a strike. So Kozo's allowed 5 hits in the game, 3 of them by Patterson. This one is going to be caught in center field on the fly by Leaf, and that'll retire the side. But not before the Trojans strike first. An RBI single by Mary Kate Murray. Metuchen will try to come back into this bottom of the 5th inning. 1-0 St. Thomas Aquinas. Eddie Kalegi here live on the Bulldog Report. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Bottom of the 5th inning. Eddie Kalegi here live on the Bulldog Report. Man, what a game it's been. 2 of the best teams, 14-0. St. Thomas Aquinas, coached by Missy Colazzo, and the 13-1 Dogs, coached by Hannah Thomas. And it's been a great one. Of course, the one big hit so far from Mary Kate Murray. She's got 3 hits, but the one that counted with runners on base and 2 outs. Sneaking one in between Pachalski and Zapp. Not very well hit, but enough to get the job done and give Metuchen a 1-0 lead. There's Kylie Flaherty, who squeaked a double down the left field line and was stranded at second, back in the second. Her frickin' McGrath will bat here, and she pops this one up right to Tydeback. Almost a collision there between Tydeback and Murray, who are both going for it. All fun and games, though, for St. Thomas as they get the out, 1 away. So now here's Frick, who struck out looking in the second. And she'll foul that one off. Only 2 base runners so far from Metuchen in this offense, which has been red hot all season long. Just has a double and a single to this point. Tydeback working quickly. This pitch is taken high by Frick for a ball. Here's the pitch. That one fouled back. So 2 strikes here on Annika Frick. Mary McGrath, who struck out on 3 pitches in her first plate appearance on deck, and Frick fights that one off, gets a piece of it. Bottom of the 5th, St. Thomas leading it 1-0. 2-out RBI single from Mary Kate Murray as Frick grounds that one foul. Tydeback with the pitch, and that is a swing and a miss. Frick goes down on strikes for the 2nd time today. 6 strikeouts now for Tydeback. That brings her season total to 90. And quickly there are 2 away here in the bottom of the 5th, and Mary McGrath will bat. McGrath outclassed back in the 3rd inning, struck out on 3 pitches, and she takes that one in there for strike 1. So the St. Thomas staff picking right up where they left off in their last one. 0-2 now on McGrath. Only allowed 1 hit in a 5-inning mercy rule victory over Piscataway yesterday, with Wycherzak on the mound, and McGrath goes down swinging on 3 pitches for the 2nd time. 2 strikeouts there in the inning for Tydeback. She's got 7 for the game. We'll head to the top of the 6th. Bulldogs still trailing 1-0 right here on the Bulldog Report. Top of the 6th inning now. Abby Kozo gave up a run in the 5th as Mary Kate Murray singled home one. It'll be Jenna Schwartz, who has had a rough game so far today, who takes a strike. Got to third off of a walk and could have potentially scored a run back in the 2nd, but had to go back and didn't have time to get back home on a pop-out, where if she had tagged right away, she might have been able to score. And then, with 2 outs and a runner on 2nd in the 3rd, was thrown out on a ground ball from right field by Flaherty. And she takes that one low. Schwartz, though, a great hitter, 381, a home run, 14 RBI, and hit 311 as a sophomore in 2019, and a very solid defensive catcher as well. She's going to pop this one out of play and into foul territory. Schwartz, Hill, and Martinez, the 3 up here for the Trojans in their half of the 6th. Here's the pitch from Kozo. Ground ball, Pachalski bobbles it. Zapp picks it up for her. Throw to first is going to be late. An error by Pachalski, and now Schwartz, the leadoff batter, is on. I mean, it was a hard hit ball right there. Schwartz will now be pinch run for by Kate Abrams, another senior, who's 2 for 8 at the plate this season. And this will bring up Hill with a bunt single and a strikeout so far today. 1 for 2 on her ledger. But a tough mistake there for Pachalski. Zapp, though, heads up, picked it up. She's been really good defensively. If you remember that game against South Plainfield, she almost on a dive, almost threw out the runner at first, but just a little late, and South Plainfield won on a walk-off. Hill's going to try to bunt again, but this time it's going to go foul. Abrams will have to head back to first. Here's the pitch from Kozo. Another bunt from Hill. Another good placed bunt. Kozo throws to first, gets the out there, but Abrams advances to second. So a sac bunt from Hill is the first out of the 6th. But now a runner in scoring position for Melissa Martinez, who's hit the ball hard twice, but has flown out to right both times. Hit .268 with 2 home runs, 9 RBI in 2019. .316 on the docket this season with 6 ribbies. And she takes that first pitch. Abrams the runner at second. Trojans leading 1-0 in the top of the 6th. And Kozo misses upstairs with the ball. Now, Metuchen does have time, but even if they lose this game, they have put up a great fight so far here against the 2-time reigning GMC champs. That one popped foul. Trojans back in 2019 made it all the way to the NJSIAA non-public semis, where they were defeated by St. John Vianney. So when you're facing teams with that caliber of athletic history in the Garden State, that really shows the success of your program. Another one misses for Kozo. A rise ball has been a little off today, but she's still been able to get the job done and hold them to a run as Martinez swings at that one. I believe it's a full count now. Pfizer on deck. Here's the pitch from Kozo. And that's a swing and a miss. Down goes Martinez. 5th strikeout for Kozo here through 5 2/3 innings. And now there's 2 away with Abrams still in scoring position. Pfizer had that great catch in right field earlier in the game. 1 for 2 with a single and a strikeout swinging. And she takes that first pitch off the plate for a ball. St. Thomas would love to get a little more breathing room here. And that one way upstairs. De La Fuente almost thinks about firing back to second, but Abrams back in. But again, Kozo falling behind in these 2-ball, 3-ball counts. And she's been forced to give these hitters dead heat down the middle, which these St. Thomas hitters can handle. And that's a 4-pitch free pass to Pfizer. And now there are 2 on for Madison Epps, who worked a seemingly endless at-bat in the 5th to a full count and eventually struck out looking. But back-to-back full counts for Kozo in the 5th, and O'Neill reached on a walk, and that's where things kind of derailed. And St. Thomas ended up taking that 1-0 lead. Now, Metuchen, of course, does have time, but they only have 2 hits to this point. They have Pachalski, Zapp, and Leaf due up in the 6th against Tydeback. This one is floated out to right field. Flaherty is there, makes the play, and St. Thomas will strand a pair. So Kozo works out of trouble once again. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. Trojans 1, Bulldogs nothing. 9-1-2 due up in the Metuchen order. Eddie Kalegi here on the Bulldog Report. Stay with us for more. Bottom of the 6th inning, Metuchen trying to avoid losing for just the 2nd time this season, but have put up quite the fight here against St. Thomas, who have won back-to-back GMC titles and are looking poised for a 3rd at 14-0, 13-0 in Red Division play. This is only their 2nd non-red game so far this season. And looking at some of these stats, I mean, they have allowed 2 or fewer runs 13 times this season. They're hoping to do that once again today. They've won 8 games by the mercy rule. And they're coming off of a season where they went 20-3 after switching to the red division from the white division. Of course, the red division slightly higher competition. At least that's what it's considered in terms of small school, big school. Blue division considered a little lower than that, but Metuchen putting up a fight and hoping to potentially tie this game up. It'll start with Carly Pachalski as she takes Tydeback's first pitch for a strike. Tydeback has struck out the last 2 batters, has overall K'd 7 and allowed just 2 hits to this point. Now an 0-2 count here to Pachalski. And that is one of the quickest 3-pitch strikeouts I've seen. Tydeback is just locked in, carving these Metuchen hitters up one by one. The middle of the order has given her some trouble. But 7, 8, 9, and 1 in the Bulldog order so far today is a combined 0 for 8 with 8 strikeouts. She hasn't struck out anybody 2 for through 6. And she's allowed some loud contact, including the double by Flaherty and the single by Leaf, Metuchen's only 2 base runners of the day. Zapp takes that one as Mia Zapp continues to struggle here at the plate, as her average has dwindled a bit, but still doing really good as a leadoff hitter and, of course, the defender as well. Playing a great shortstop and had a nice play in the last inning, as she just barely holds up on that elevated rise ball. Here's the pitch, and that one will just miss low and away for a ball. 2-2 now to Mia Zapp. Leaf due up next. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 4 consecutive strikeouts now for Tydeback. That's 9 for the game. Zapp has struck out 3 times. And 2 outs now for Noelle Leaf. And whereas Kozo has seemed to kind of tire out and lose her location as the game has gone on, I'd argue Tydeback has gotten even better as this game has continued. Leaf grounded to short in the first, singled in the fourth, and was retired on a fielder's choice. And Tydeback quickly ahead 0-2. It seems almost instantaneous right now how quickly these Metuchen hitters are being retired. 0-2 pitch. And that one's in there. Strike 3 called. What an inning for Paige Tydeback. Bulldog hitters barely even lifted the bat as Pachalski, Zapp, and Leaf strike out. Second time today that Tydeback has struck out the side. She's got 10 Ks, 94 for the season. We'll head to the 7th inning. Metuchen trying to keep it a one-run game and hoping they can do something in the bottom of the 7th and have another impressive comeback on this 3-game homestand. But big game, Trojans, Bulldogs. Trojans by 1. We head to the 7th. Eddie Kalegi here on the Bulldog Report. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment. Pitcher's duel here between Metuchen and St. Thomas. Abby Kozo so far through 6 innings. She has allowed some hits. She's allowed 5 hits. She's walked 2, allowed the 1 run, and struck out 5. But unfortunately, she's on the losing end right now, down 1-0, and it's the top of the order. It'll start with O'Neill, and she will have to face Mary Kate Murray once again, who's seeking a 4-hit game. So the goal has to be to retire O'Neill and Tydeback, so there's nobody for Murray to potentially drive in. O'Neill floats one, and that's going to be almost caught on the dive by Leslie Flaherty. Made an effort to dive. Almost got it. Got her glove on it. Just couldn't make the play. But great hustle out there from the freshman right fielder. O'Neill drew a walk and a 9-pitch at bat back in the 5th and came around to score on the RBI single from Murray, the only run so far of this game. Bouncing ball deflected over to Pachalski at second, and the throw is high. Bounces over there. O'Neill will stay at first. Second error of the game for Pachalski. And that is not what Metuchen wants when they're already down 1 and struggling just to even make contact with these pitches from Tydeback. Here's Tydeback. She's going to drop to bunt, perfectly placed. Kozo off the mound, throws to first, a little high, and they're going to say she's safe. They're going to say Pachalski came off the bag. So back-to-back errors now, and there's 2 runners on, and it's Murray due up. And St. Thomas with a chance to break this game wide open. Neither of these particularly difficult plays. O'Neill does have some speed, but Pachalski's throw was wild, and then Kozo with a poor throw over to first. And now 2 runners on with nobody out, and St. Thomas trying to give Tydeback some breathing room. Now Metuchen does have the heart of the order. They will have Kozo, De La Fuente, and Flaherty, who have been responsible for the rallies and rally on Friday against JFK. Murray's 3 for 3 and takes that first pitch in there for a strike. Kozo nearly retired her back in the 5th. She got it to a full count and was at 2 strikes, a couple of foul balls, and then Murray punched a single through. And she watches that rise ball upstairs and away for a ball. It's 1-1. So O'Neill at second, Tydeback at first. both of which have reached on errors. 1-1 to Murray is taken high. Now check back at second. The throw is a little short. Zap picks it up. And O'Neill's back in a second. Two-one from Kozo. Murray fouls that one back, and the count is at 2-2. Kozo's worked around a lot of trouble today, and has allowed just the one run, but this is crucial here to keep this just a one-run game. Now, after her is Patterson and Schwartz, who are combined 0 for 5. And that one is going to miss just barely. Great take by Murray. And it's a full count now. These battles between Kozo and Murray have been good today. Murray's won all 3 times and has driven in the only run to this point. 3-2 pitch is a swing and a miss. Mary-Kate Murray goes down swinging. Kozo finally gets Murray, and that's a massive first out of the 7th. So Patterson will bat. Mary-Kate Murray is finally retired by Abby Kozo. She had 3 hits and an RBI to this point. So top of the 7th, 1-0 Trojans, and the first pitch to Patterson is gassed in there for a swing and a miss and a strike. Patterson grounded into a fielder's choice in the first, flew to right in the 3rd, center in the 5th. Kozo misses high, 1-1. Kozo pitched out of a bases-loaded 1-out jam in the 2nd. And is looking to strand a couple here with nobody out. Now 1 in the 7th. 2 strikes now on Patterson. It's Jenna Schwartz on deck. Pop up, right to Kozo, 2 away. Runner's not going anywhere. It's like she just completely changes her game and just completely locks in if there's runners on base, and that's why she has not allowed many runs at all this season. So here's Schwartz, 0 for 2, walked and stranded at 3rd in the 2nd, grounded to right and was thrown out at 1st in the 4th, and then reached on an error in the 6th. This one a fly ball that's foul down the right side. Bulldogs with 3 errors in this game, 2 by Pachalski, 1 by Kozo. O'Neill the runner at 2nd, Tydeback at 1st. Pitch to Schwartz is driven out to right center field. That one's going to get down for a base hit. O'Neill rounds 3rd. She will score. They're going to hold up Tydeback, who stumbles at 3rd base. It's an RBI single for Jenna Schwartz, and St. Thomas takes a 2-0 lead. A massive RBI single right there. It seemed like Metuchen had the chance to get out of this after Kozo retired 3 and 4 in the Trojan order. But number 5 gets the job done. And that'll bring up Amaya Hill. And the first pitch to her misses high. Looking back at this, what we just saw here, right down the middle, and no way Flaherty relief was getting to that. So 2-0 now, the Trojans on top, as that one's going to miss high for a ball. Metuchen has not lost by multiple runs yet this season, but they've also scored multiple runs in the last inning, each of the last 2 games at home, and have the heart of the order coming up. As that one gets knocked around by the backstop, it's going to cause the runner Abrams to advance to 2nd. It's pinch running for Schwartz once again. So now 2 in scoring position. So a hit here could really nearly end this game. That one is in there for a strike to Hill. She's 1 for 2. She singled, struck out, and dropped down a sac bunt in the 6th. Hill takes a moment and steps off. Trojans by 2, top of the 7th. Here's the pitch from Kozo. Fouled off by Hill. Here's the pitch from Abby Kozo. Fouled away once again. I'm honestly surprised they didn't bring in a pinch runner for Tydeback just to keep her off the base paths. But she's standing there at third base. She's been there for a while on the base paths. As this one is driven out to center field. Leaf on the run, ranges out, makes the catch, side retired. But St. Thomas brings home another run. RBI single from Jenna Schwartz. Metuchen hoping for late game heroics like the last two, but they trail by a pair heading to the bottom of the 7th. Stay with us, you won't want to miss it. Eddie Kalegi right here on the Bulldog Report. Metuchen trying to avoid losing for just the 2nd time this season, but have put up an amazing fight here against St. Thomas, the 2-time reigning GMC champions, who are undefeated so far this season, and have only on one other occasion this season won a game by less than 5 runs. Against Old Bridge, they won 1-0 a couple of weeks ago. Every other game has been by 5 runs or more. Now, this part of the order, Kozo, De La Fuente, and Flaherty made it happen in the game on Friday, when Flaherty ended up hitting the walk-off 2-run triple to give Metuchen a 4-3 win over JFK, who made it to the GMC Championship in 2019. And are the 2nd best team in the white division. Tydeback's first pitch fouled back. She is coming in on a hot streak. She has struck out the last 5 batters, 10 in total today, and has allowed just 2 hits. A screeching double down the left field line by Flaherty in the 2nd, and a soft single up the middle by Leaf in the 4th. As Kozo drives one, a rocket caught by Patterson, and that's a big first out. Not an easy play. Patterson just stuck out the glove. Trojan infield loves it, and that's a big first out. And Kozo's 0 for 3. So a lucky break there, and 2 outs away now for St. Thomas. Here's the first pitch to Brianna De La Fuente. She fouls that one back. It's 0-1. De La Fuente reached on a fielder's choice last time, is also flown out, and she takes that one and tied it back ahead 0-2. 0-2 to De La Fuente, and that one is going to be taken off the plate for a ball, and she'll stay alive at 1-2. 1-2. This one is driven out to center field. That'll fall in for a base hit. Just the 3rd hit of the day from Metuchen. 2 hard hit balls in a row here in the 7th. Kozo's was caught. De La Fuente's was not. And Metuchen will get the tying run to the plate in Leslie Flaherty. And Flaherty has had a flair for the big moments so far this season. South Plainfield gave them the lead in the top of the 7th, and then, of course, won the game on Friday with a walk-off 2-run triple. And she'll bat here with De La Fuente at first base. And that one's going to be popped up. Long run, and unable to get there was Martinez. I think it's Kachi potentially that's running at first. I didn't see that fully. Here's the pitch to Flaherty. She pops that one foul. It's 0-2. Leslie Flaherty has flown to center twice. Second on the team with a .610 average this season, leads them in triples and is third in homers. 2-0 game, bottom of the 7th. One out, swung on and missed by Flaherty. Strike 3, and Metuchen will be down to their final out. A huge strikeout there from Tydeback, her 11th of the ball game, and it's going to come down to Kylie Flaherty here. Runner at first. First pitch, swing and a miss. What a pitch from Tydeback, who has just had her command rolling all game long. Metuchen's had a flair for the dramatics. Can they do anything here? That one misses off the plate for a ball, 1-1. One offering. Popped foul, and now they're down to their final strike. St. Thomas looking to get to 15-0. Metuchen has proved themselves today as a worthy contender here against the Trojans. Tying run, 0-2. Here's the pitch. That one is in there. Strike 3 called, and that's the game. Metuchen loses for just the second time this season as Paige Tydeback was dealing 12 strikeouts and allowed just 3 hits, no walks, over 7 innings. But for Metuchen, only losing 2-0 against the best team in the GMC has to be a great feeling for this program, competing against a Red Division opponent of the caliber that St. Thomas is. But Metuchen loses today. They go to 13-2, first loss at home this season. Of course, they're still 10-0 in the Blue Division and in control there, but great game to call today. Paige Tydeback, the winning pitcher. Abby Kozo, the losing pitcher. Big standout performance. Mary Kate Murray went 3 for 4 with a double and an RBI. Jenna Schwartz drove in the other run. She went 1 for 3 on the day with a single. But that'll just about wrap things up today. Once again, the final score, St. Thomas 2, Metuchen 0. For Eddie Kalegi, this is the Bulldog Report. Signing off. We hope you have a great rest of your day.